y'all? Welcome back to a special edition of Empowering Real Talk. It is your girl, Coach K, and I am back with a very, very exciting episode that I cannot wait for y'all to listen to. Okay. Before I get started, y'all know the drill. Make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded Mindsets Media channel. If you are listening on your podcast streaming platforms, then make sure you are favoriting Empowering Real Talk on that platform so you do not miss the conversations that are necessary. If you see me on screen, then you see I am definitely not here alone, and I'm super excited about that. Listen, y'all, this episode is going to be a little bit different than what you are used to on Empowering Real Talk. And I am so excited that I have these lovely guests with me that are going to show you how different it is about to be. So, we are going to be talking about exploring our sexuality and exploring our intimacy. Oh my God, y'all. I'm super excited to talk about this. This is something fresh for Empowering Real Talk, and I'm super excited. So I'm gonna quit saying that, and I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves. I'm sure you've seen their faces here before, but I'm super happy that they are coming to embrace Empowering Real Talk on this level. Okay, so we will let Mark introduce himself. Hey, Mark.
Hey, everybody. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Buckle up, because it's going to be quite a ride. Buckle up. We are
Mhm.
here to educate and disseminate information and to do it in a free, safe environment, free from judgment and most of all, embracing with love and the knowledge that we have.
I
And,
love
and
it.
it's
I
an
love it.
opportunity to share and embrace each other and embrace who we are and open the door so that we can be all that your creator intended you to be.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Mark.
Mhm.
I'm so excited to have you. And we will Miss Lady, how you feeling, baby?
Hey, I'm feeling great today. I'm excited to have this conversation. It's always a necessary conversation that never comes off the table. But keep it brief because you guys probably have seen me here before. I am Lady, and I am your sacred and embodiment and empowerment coach. It's simple for me. I basically work with women in every area, mind, body, and spiritual wellness. It's all about reclaiming your power. I like to call it the goddess power. And it's really getting to know yourself and being unapologetic and showing up boldly in every area of your life, being who you are and
I
taking nothing from that.
Hey, let's go. Yes, y'all. So, y'all heard me say before that we are going to be talking about sexuality. We're going to be talking about intimacy. And I'm really just here to moderate today, y'all. So, you're not going to hear too much from me because listen, I'm about to get schooled as well. You feel me? So, I'm super excited to have them. I'm going to quit saying that, y'all, but it's just something that I can't stop saying because this is something that, as Lady said, is something that we should always be talking about and we should be getting comfortable with talking about because we all do it. We grown. This is grown folks conversation. If you got kids in the room, if you got people around you and you don't want them listening to this, hey, I'm gonna need you to put your earphones in. I'm gonna need you to go into the other room. I'm gonna need you to send the kids to bed, whatever it is that you feel you got to do so you can gather this information and really take heed from it. Okay. So, Lady, I'm going to start with you first. What actually got you started on the journey? First of all, with sacred embodiment, but also with, helping with sexuality, because you literally have like sessions and coaching, and that is like something that you do. You both do, but I'm going to have you touch base on yours a little bit first.
Wow. I'll keep it simple. So for me, my upbringing, I've shared this before. When you grow up in a religious household, when you grow up in religion, I grew up in a Christian and Baptist household, on different sides of it. And you're taught so many different things about the Bible. You're taught that sex is bad, sex is the devil, your eyes are going to fall out. You know, it's those taboo conversations in your household that you really don't have. And it's also, you start going outside and then you start learning things that, you don't really know what you're learning. You just start doing things because you're being influenced by either your environment, the people around you. For me, I was very promiscuous at a very young age. Hey, it was what it was.
Mhm.
I've learned many, many, many lessons, throughout the years, but being promiscuous, young, not really having that conversation in the home. And then, just my environment of friends I had and things they were doing. And I was always around older people all the time. So, it's very different, So it's kind of like, oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. You continue to walk in that, And for me, I walked in that a very, very long time. And then I ended up being a teen mom at 16. And, it just kept going and going. I just kept figuring out things on my own, and whether it was right or wrong, it just was what it was. But, as I got older, and started really grounding and going on my journey, exploring different things, coming out of religion, breaking away from Christianity, um, I met some amazing, amazing women in an online community because, we were dealing with COVID,
Right.
and it's been a lot in the last 3, 4 years. But I met so many women online, and they started having these conversations. I started learning, started exploring, started getting to know myself, and my path just kind of started shifting, and that's really what led me to the work that I do now, is doing the work on myself, getting to know myself, learning things about my body, and it's like deprogramming myself, unlearning the things that were taught to me about sexuality, intimacy, getting to know what my sexuality was. I had to explore that, and I'm still exploring it. But what I know so far, I had to be okay with me. I had to know how to love me, embrace my body, learning that, sex is not just sex, intimacy is not always in sex. There's
Mm.
different forms of intimacy that we have. So just exploring, going through my own personal journey, it really led me into working with women. And like I said, I've met so many women where I just be sitting there like, wow.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, you would think that because, someone is older, they know a lot. That's not always the case. They know very little. They haven't been able to
Wow.
explore. They haven't opened themselves up to explore these different worlds. Um, so it's a lot to continue to talk about and dive into, but I'm grateful to be in that space of my own freedom of
Yeah.
exploration and just saying, hey, I'm sexually free to be me. That's one of my foundation.
Ooh.
Not just spiritually free, but I'm sexually free to be me. And I explore every aspect of that.
Oh, I love it, sis. I love it. Mark, what about you? What about you? Tell us a little bit about what made you decide to step into this side of the realm.
My story echoes yours a lot, lady, with a few twists. First of all, coming from a male perspective, okay? For those of you that don't know, I am physically challenged. I have cerebral palsy. I walk with crutches. So, and my background, I grew up in a single parent household, and I grew up in the PJs, very rough environment, very rough environment. So here I am, a black disabled male, single family home, and I had my mom never married, so she had men that she dated, but never really saw a lot of men running in and out of my mom's, life. She was very loyal to whomever her companion was at that moment. Now, in terms of my sexual upbringing, so I'm in an environment where we're around pimps, prostitutes, and a whole bunch of things, and I'm not getting involved in that because of my disability. So my disability saved me from a lot, actually.
Mm.
Here I am growing up in this environment. I'm seeing all these things going around me, and I'm not partaking of them. But it did influence in my mind, even though I didn't partake in the activities per se. So here I am. I have my my mind saying one thing and my body is saying another. So I'm like, okay. And again, very, very, very religious background. You hold on to that thing until marriage. That's what's at the house, but you walk outside the door, and it's Wild Wild West. So there's that conflict, and okay, so where do we learn these things from? I was isolated as a child, so TV was my best friend. So again, what I saw on TV was my reality for the world for a while.
Mhm.
So here I am. You know, my mom had limited education, so I'm like, whew, okay. So where do I learn my sexuality? Where do I learn my roles at? And that's a whole other topic.
Right.
Disability and sexuality. That's a whole other topic within itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so here I am. But I was a very flirtatious boy. Yes, I remember looking at all my beautiful chocolate sisters, saying, "Ooh wee, I can't," from a very young age. Can't wait. you know my eyes started popping at 10, 11, 12. It was like, can't wait, can't wait. Did all those little things. Fresh little boy. My mom's friends used to come over. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, can I have a hug? Yeah, I was one of them. I was one of them fresh little boys. So in terms of my sexuality, my mind was always curious. Started at a young age, just really, 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 having that mindset of I can't wait to get older. I can't wait to get older. But so puberty comes around, and you know it's really tough for me because I see all these chocolate women, and that's all I saw. you know but I wasn't getting attention from them because i didn't fit I didn't fit that kid on the block. So here I am. I'm thinking that I'm going to wind up dating outside of my race, and that was going to be that for me because I didn't get attention from people that look like me. It just wasn't happening because they were too busy doing their thing, and I was Mr. Nerd. Go read a book. Go do this. Go do that. But there was a fire within me. So as I got older, went to college, pledged, and lost my mind for a minute because
Mm.
I got deep in it. Got deep in it.
Yeah.
But I never devalued our sisters. Never, 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 never devalued them because I come from a strong black woman, and as I got further on in my life, in my late 20s and 30s, you know, I just knew there was something missing. I just knew because I'm such an intellectual, and as we all know, intimacy and sex starts in the mind.
Mhm.
So regular sex was okay. It was cool, but I always knew that there was something missing. Always knew
Mm.
there was something missing. And I eventually found out about BDSM
Mm.
and the kinky lifestyle. And man, that was the parting of the Red Sea for me. When Moses dipped his rod in the river, and the water turned red. Woo! Yeah, man. When I found kink, man, it the heavens opened.
Yeah. That's deep. That's
Yep,
deep.
yep,
That's deep, but like
yep. No,
like you actually found that though. Like it was something that you were like, "Hey, I love you said the Red Sea."
yeah,
Hey y'all, listen. This is the type of conversations that we want to have, right? But we ain't gonna get into that specifically today
yeah,
because I really think that that's gonna be too much for y'all right now.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
It's gonna
yeah,
be too much.
yeah,
Now, if you are familiar in that area, then that's more power to you.
yes, yes,
But
yes,
we're
yes,
gonna gradually work y'all into that. We're
yeah,
gonna
exactly.
gradually get y'all into that, okay?
So as I began to learn, and as a matter of fact, it was a sister that introduced me to the lifestyle.
Mm.
But anyway, so I'm fast forward. I began to, because of my physical disability, I began to look for ways to alleviate my pain. So I eventually found hypnosis, and became a hypnotherapist, and I had no one to practice with. So and I learned virtually. So I put out an ad on an adult site, and I learned how to hypnotize people, and I gave erotic episodes to them. But that opened it up. That opened me up, and I discovered who I am sexually and things of that nature. And I tell this story to tell people it's never too late. Embrace who you are. You know, and one thing that is common with Lady and I, a common thread is we had to let go of a lot of what we thought was right. We
Mhm.
had to truly learn and embrace who we are. And that is one of the main objectives
Mhm.
of our talk today, is to get individuals to learn whom they are,
Mhm.
and embrace who they are. And that can only come through self examination of who you are, and that conversation with yourself. The word conversation is something that we all three of us tend to use a lot.
Yeah.
So the first thing that, one of our first objectives of today is to get people to start that self-examination process, and question the things that you do intimately and sexually. Why does this bother? Why is this a good thing for me? Why is why don't I like this? And I'm from an older generation, and we definitely didn't have those conversations. You learned from, if you are fortunate enough to have a man in the house, you learn from him. But if he was communicative, but if he wasn't, you learned by TV, you learned by the streets, you learned by your
Mhm.
friends. And there's so
Right.
much misinformation there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
coming from a male perspective, man, we get that thing so wrong in so many different ways. And it's not easy, but it's not as complicated as we make it.
Right.
Because see, you are a living, breathing human being. A woman is a living, breathing human being, just like a man is. So it's about communication,
Absolutely.
talking about those
Absolutely.
things. And that's
Yeah.
something that our culture, traditionally, we talk about it, but we don't speak to it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what we need to do. We need to
Yeah.
do more of speaking to our sexuality and embracing
Mhm.
those people who may be a little different.
Yeah. I agree.
Mhm.
I can agree with that totally. And I definitely want to, like, one, I would love to hear you guys' perspective on the differences between sexuality and intimacy, because although that's something I'm familiar with, I ain't gonna say I'm just a nerd out here, y'all. I got some knowledge, but I would love to let the listeners hear from you guys' perspective. If you could just go through 1 or 2 minutes of the differences between sexuality and intimacy. And lady, I'll have you go first with that.
I'll start with intimacy because, at first we don't know what intimacy is. We think it's really just having sex, having orgasms, just the pow, pow, pow. But later on, you learn that no, intimacy is not just sex. You can literally be in an intimate relationship with your friends, family, relatives, you know what I mean? And when it comes to that one on one, there's the romantic, intimate side. That's where you have a partner, you know what I mean? You're physical, you know what I mean? And, you do other things there. But even in a physical romantic relationship, how do you define romance? That was something that came up in a relationship conversation. I was on a panel yesterday and we talked about what is romance? How do you define it? Are women romancers or is it just men? So it was a great conversation, but when it comes to intimacy, it's like, what does that look like for you? It could be just, a bottle of wine and some roses and flowers. It could be chocolates. It could be we're watching a movie, having popcorn. We're cuddled up by a fireplace or walks on the beach. It could be reading a book. It could be the museum. Really defining what these things look like for you in your relationships because they don't all look the same. And none of those things I named are sexual. You get what I'm saying? Those are really non-intimate things that you can do in any relationship. And even if you have a romantic partner, yeah, you could spice it up a little if you want to. But there are moments where it's like it's not even about the sexual spice. It's just, hey, I want to just hang out. I want to just talk. I want to just sit in silence or do all those other things, music, dancing, laughing. All of those things can be intimacy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's why I believe in not defining things by definition of a word. I believe in defining things on how they feel and look for you,
Yes,
how
absolutely.
they fit into your life and your relationship. You know what I mean? So, you,
Yeah.
like I said yesterday when they were talking about romance, I said, well, first of all, how do you define romance? It don't look the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. And I get it, somebody dropped in the comments the whole definition of romance. Okay. Again, I don't define words by definition. I define it on how it feels for me,
Yeah.
what it looks like for me, what I want it to look like. And that's my definition. That becomes my self definition for that thing. That's how I birth life into it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's
Yeah.
how I birth life into intimacy. What
Yeah.
does intimacy look like for me? What would it look like? What does it feel like? What do I want it to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even, on the sexual side of it,
You know what? I'm gonna actually stop you. I'm gonna let Mark
okay,
piggyback
go ahead,
off of
Mark.
that, and
Yep,
then we'll go to the sexuality. Because I'm like, you know what? Let's
gotcha.
do it that
That
way.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, Mark, go ahead and piggyback.
The first three letters of intimacy is INT.
Hmm.
Let's break that down for one quick moment. Intimacy comes from within.
Mm.
Intimacy, when I'm into my partner. Intimacy, when I'm inside their brain, when I'm inside their head, and I'm figuring
Hmm.
out what makes them tick. Yes, intimacy starts from within, starts from you. What makes you feel good? What would you like to do to bring joy to your partner? What would you like to do to bring joy to yourself? I love the fact that you said intimacy is not always romantic. I love the fact that you can be intimate with your friends. You can be intimate with the people around you. Anyone that you have a relationship with, you can be intimate with. And here's where we go. I'm about to take the cap off. We call it bromance. We you know
Hmm.
we say we wonder sometimes, as guys, how come we like to hang around our boys sometimes, more than we like to hang around our women, because that is our form of intimacy. But we as males of color in marginalized society, we have such a bravado about us. We don't say, hey, I love you, man, until we get older in life. But it's common for females to say, hey, yeah, that's my girl, I love her. But we don't say that enough as males to each other in a non-sexual way. And so intimacy is all those things that bring joy to you, and it's about you learning the people around you so that you can bring joy to them. That joy can come from reading a book. That joy can come from a kind word. That joy can come from just performing an act for them, or have someone do something for you. No strings, just because I know it's going to make you happy, just because I know it's going to make you feel good, just because I know it's going to make your day a little bit better, just because. That's what intimacy should be about, just because.
I
and and
love
and, and, I, and I'm going to piggyback what you said. That is something that should be self-defined.
Hmm.
you know you know
Hmm.
I so much of intimacy and sensuality. Another thing we need to look at starts in the brain. you know Part of one way that I identify myself is as a cerebral sadist.
Mm.
I love a good mind duck, and put the other word in there. So in order to do that, you have to know the person, and the real intimacy in a relationship is, I believe, is in getting to know that partner, getting
Yeah.
to know that person, getting to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and speaking to those, and gravitating to those, for those things that are strength, making them even stronger, and for those things that are less than strong, building them up. That's what builds the intimacy, and that's part of the problem with relationships. When you've been with someone so long, that intimacy starts to wane. So what do you do to keep the intimacy alive?
Keep it up. Yeah. Yeah. Oof, deep, y'all. Deep, deep. I love the hey, that commentary was dope, y'all. But listen, it's facts. And again, I had to learn that myself. So like I want other people to understand the differences between the two because there is a huge difference. And I love that you even touched on the sensuality part too, Mark, because that's a whole nother thing over there too. So like I want us to know that there are differences between these things. We can't
Mhm.
start capping them together under one umbrella because they're not under one umbrella. Now, if you're talking about one umbrella, yeah, but when it comes to the acts of, I do believe that they are different. And just listening to y'all, I'm glad that I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm glad. All right. So let's touch a little bit on the sexuality side of things. Mark, I'm gonna spit it right back to you. What do you define sexuality as?
First of all, let's remember, sexuality. It's the act of sex itself. It's a physical act.
Mhm.
But in order to really enjoy that act, parameters got to be set. If this is going to be a hookup, it's understood. We know this is a hookup. If this is going to be something that is long lasting, it's those conversations that need to be had. And again, it all starts with the mind. We can look at someone and we can say they're attractive. Ooh, they got a big this, a small that, or whatever the case may be. But the moment they open their mouth and say something that's not attractive to you, all that goes out the window. So where are we right back to? The mind. And you need to be able to communicate effectively, you know, to let you know what your needs and desires are. So in my opinion, sexuality it's an individual expression of what makes you feel good emotionally, mentally, and physically. All that blends into your sexuality because and you can enjoy the act on the physical, but if you're
Mhm.
feeling horrible afterwards, what was
Mhm.
the point?
Right.
And you can feel good emotionally, but hey, we're all physical beings. I can please you mentally, but every once in a while you're a human being, you're a sexual being.
Uh-oh. Looks like we lost them
Oh,
there. So there we go. There we go. We got him back. We got him back.
okay.
We
Okay.
got him back.
Oh, I'm burning it up. I'm sizzling them waves.
Hey,
Devil is a lie.
hey.
You ain't gonna stop this knowledge from flowing, so hey, whatever.
Ooh,
Hey,
okay.
I love it. Well, lady, so yeah, we since they abruptly took him off, we'll go ahead and just roll with you, and then we just gonna, keep the
I'm a
flow rolling.
I'm
So
a piggyback off a
go
little bit
ahead,
what
sis.
Mark said, and keep it a little less spicy in the moment because he set a fire there. Um,
And did.
Again, it's all about expression and your experiences. I want to add that in there. It is mental, it is physical, but everything starts in the mind. And that's something we don't know until we know it. You know what I mean? It all channels down. But I'm big on expression. And that's all in a part of, the work with myself and then working with others. It's all about expressing yourself and knowing you have the freedom to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that exploration, the way to get there is expressing yourself. You start exploring by expression. So that's the sexuality piece. It's really just expressing yourself, and then there's the other side of it with gender, but that's another conversation for
Right.
later.
Yeah, we ain't even
um
gonna dig into that
yeah, we're not
today.
going to touch that today, but
We
that
definitely not
plays a
digging into
part
that today,
in
but
your
yeah.
sexuality. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely not gonna dig into that today. So but I felt like the need. to, talk about them on a separate level
Right.
was needed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you guys, like I said, you guys deal with these people a lot. It's a part of your
Mm.
practice, whether it's publicly, out there, whether it's not intimately out there. I'm like, hey, I had to throw that out there. But regardless of that, what in your experiences with clients and things like that, that you feel like could be the most common when it comes to blocking our sexuality and blocking us from, being able to be more intimate. Mark, what about you?
The environment, and for those of us that are, and again, I don't want to offend anybody, but this is the real conversation.
Hey, it's empowering
The,
real talk, baby. We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
offend.
the religious dogma that we tend to fall into, especially in the marginalized communities.
Mhm.
Now, let's be clear. There is a difference between religious dogma and spirituality. And what I have found working with my clients, as someone opens up their sexuality, in the intimacy part of their lives, they really discover who they are spiritually. It's a total awakening, and that's what we need to embrace, that total awakening of self. Self examination is a very difficult thing. It can get uncomfortable at times, but it's so necessary. So for me, one of the biggest blocks is truly looking at yourself, and taking yourself outside of your environment as you examine yourself, and letting go of a lot of the things that you've learned in the past, and as Lady so eloquently spoke in the beginning, unlearning a lot of what we either were taught or assumed was right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we have to know that that word right, it has to be something that's right for you.
You ooh, say it again. Say it again.
It has to be right for you.
Absolutely. Lady, what about you? What do you see is probably one of the more common things that you see people experiences blockages with?
There's top three: body confidence, excuse me, bedroom confidence, and self pleasure.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
excuse me. Oh my goodness. I
Hey, that's
apologize,
that
you
heat.
guys.
That's that heat, y'all.
Look,
Oh, excuse me.
I was about to say,
Um,
connection is about to get hot again.
Ooh, with body confidence, I'm someone who can relate to that. So that's how I'm able to relate to the women that I work with and have conversations. It doesn't matter how much your partner or person adores you or finds you attractive. That's an inner thing. Like you have to mentally bring yourself to a space of loving your body. You know what I mean? Because when you have those blockages going on, it disrupts the bedroom confidence. It can bring you into a place of you feel insecure being naked in the presence of your partner or even with yourself. You know what I mean? Going into another topic another day, because I also practice mirror work, and that's one of the tools you use to bring you into the body confidence, bring you into the bedroom confidence, because everything starts with self first before you share your body with someone else. Self pleasure, keeping it very lightweight here today, guys, but self pleasure, there's other words for it, but I'm going to call it self pleasure. That's a big one. That's a
Mm.
huge one. And that comes from so many different things in our minds and things we were taught that were bad versus good. This is that, this is that. But self pleasure, I always say, until you get to know your body, how are you sharing it with someone else? You
Mm.
need to know how you feel. How do you tell somebody what you like? You don't even know what you like. How do you say, don't touch me like this? You haven't even explored your own body. And
Mm.
these are the conversations I have on every side. And then being a parent, having these conversations with your children.
Mm.
Because we were taught those stigmas, we pass that on to our kids. And this is why our kids become afraid to explore and have conversations, and they don't know their bodies. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna hold fast on that because that's a whole different realm.
Ooh,
But
baby.
um, and I talk about these top three. How do we get to the body confidence, to the bedroom confidence, and bring in the self pleasure without all that other stuff going on in your mind? I'm big on self pleasure. I talk about it all the time. I've dealt with my hangups on it, and I believe you got to get to know your body before you can share it with someone else.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
absolutely. Ooh, come on, y'all, with the deep, baby. No.
Oh,
But
okay.
no, I love this. I love this conversation. I love that you guys are just offering so much value and insight. I know whoever's listening to this right now, they like, oh, I have, I do experience that, and I know that I have had conversations with women that just lack confidence all the way around. So
Mhm.
just lacking the main confidence, I can only imagine how it's heightened when it comes to like body confidence and especially
Mhm.
being sexual, because I know that that can be a reason why we aren't able to perform for our partners how we really want to,
Mm,
and I know that that can cause for like friction in a marriage or a relationship, and
Mhm.
even on the intimacy part, right? Because when you have people that don't know that, listen, I like to just lay across my bed and hold my partner's hand, and we could just be sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Like,
Mhm.
that is a level of intimacy for me. We could be in the car riding on the highway and he has his hand on my thigh and
Mhm.
he's driving. That is so intimate to me.
Mhm.
It's sexy to me. Like, those things are
Mhm.
so sexy to me. So I say these things, because I want people to understand that you have to, as they said, you have to figure out what works for you, how
Mhm.
is going to help you to be the
Mhm.
most confident version of yourself on a sexual level, on an intimate level, and on an overall level, So, um, what do you guys like? I would love for you guys to share like a specific tool or a specific tip or simple strategy that you guys do working with your clients. Like, Mark, I know that you share that you are a hypnotherapist, and I know that you utilize that as well. But
mm.
dive in a little bit more. Like, maybe give us a specific situation that you were able to, help somebody with that on that level.
Okay. Well, I've dealt with a couple in the past, and when you've been with someone for so long, you begin to talk. You begin to talk, you know, at them and not to them. And this couple, their intimacy life and their sexual life had fallen off.
Mm,
And in the beginning, they said they were like bunny rabbits, just always, But as life has a way of you know just coming at you and beating you down, the conversations and, like you said, the romantic gestures became less and less, and you get worried about the day to day, and you know people think that having date night is cool. That's necessary. Yes, that for couples that have been together for a while, have date night or whatever works for you. That's beautiful. But like you said, it's the small acts. It's the little things that mean so much. Well, anyway, after hypnotizing, them individually and collectively, we discovered that it was simple communication. you know you stop really talking to each other. You stop saying things like, I just called because I was thinking about you. you know you know have a good day, or leave a note on the pillow, just something to remind that person that they're special. That's what was missing a lot. So after working with them individually and collectively, I hypnotized them first individually to find out what the issues were,
right.
and that's in addition to talking to them, because sometimes we have subconscious blocks
Yeah.
that we don't even know that's there, or we've buried them so deep, and that's where the hypnotherapy comes in. And so I was able to talk to both of them, and figured out, sometimes there's something that really gets on your nerves, but you say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about it, or I'm going to let that go, because he or she just
Yeah.
always does that. But if that's that one thing that's irritating, you know, a pearl is built, or a pearl is made with a grain of sand, and then it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Well, the same thing can happen on a negative level. So we discovered that, it was a lack of communication, and after, I get aside of them talking, hip, with each other, and then through hypnosis we uncover those, and eventually after 2 or 3 sessions, they began to explore intimacy again, and they're having some great sex right now.
I love it. I love it. That's
Mm.
amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story because that I know that there's somebody out here that definitely needed to hear that. That is like you guys said before, it's never too late. So thank you for sharing that, lady. What about you? What's some guys, some tip or something that you could feed to the audience here?
So for me, I do mirror work and journaling. I
Mm-hmm.
do it together. So basically, it's having women, express and explore themselves in a mirror. You can sit in front of the mirror, you can stand in front of the mirror, you can set your mood with candles or whatever it is you like, spray your favorite scent in the atmosphere. And it's really just you being in this space with yourself to explore how you feel about your body. I also involve breath work with that. It's really touching your body to see if something's off. How do you feel about your body? Do you notice anything new or different? And you're journaling about those things. What's going through your mind while you're exploring these things, while you're sitting and looking at you in that mirror? What are your thoughts? And I have women write those thoughts out. It's personally for you, in our own spaces if you want to share one or two things they do. And that's what drove me to write, to create the journal. Like I have a personal journal that,
Yes, please tell them what it
um,
is, please.
so it is called the Pussy Affirmations. It is a
Hey.
self-love journal, and it's healing the wound with the power of your words. And I just have so many great affirmations in there. There's a journal section, there's pictures in there. And a lot of women who have, got the journal, they said that it really helped them. They enjoy it, they use it as a part of their own personal mirror work.
I love it. And the link for that will be in the podcast notes, y'all. So y'all can go check that out. Hey, y'all, we could talk about this stuff all day, but we're going to kind of wrap it up here. I think that we have been very good in touching on the foundation. What you guys think?
I think this was beautiful. Like you said, we can't give you guys too much because we don't want it to be too fiery over here. We don't
Ooh,
want
y'all
to get
see what
shut
happened?
down.
We was having some technical difficulties. They're trying to shut Mark down and
Um,
everything. Hey,
but for me, I will close out with just these three things: get to know your body, love yourself, and touch yourself.
I
That's
love
it for
it.
me.
Hey, period. Mark, what's your final words? What you got for us?
Well, I know this is episode 1, but by the time we get to episode 6, they'll be ready for the spice.
Ooh, they're gonna be ready.
they will be ready
Just
for
so
the
y'all
spice.
know, let me interrupt real quick, but just so y'all know, Mark spilled the beans. We are looking to make this into a series, you guys. So if
Yes.
you have not subscribed to
Mhm.
the channel, you definitely better make sure you hit that button now, and you definitely better make sure you hit that bell to get them updates, baby, because it is going to be in a series all by itself. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes. Now, to piggyback off of what Lady said, I have a saying that I like to say. When you look in the mirror, you should see greatness.
Mm.
If you don't see greatness, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and when you open your eyes, begin to see the greatness in you.
I love
So
it.
I'm going to leave you with that, number one. And number two, you know, you know, Whitney Houston said it best: the greatest love of all. You know, it's that love inside of it's that love inside of each person. You cannot truly love anyone until until you love yourself.
Mm,
And for those of you who are on that journey, I applaud you. Let's make it a caravan.
yeah, I
And for
agree.
those of you that are starting, it takes just one step.
I
And
love
that's simply saying, I will love me.
it. Powerful.
Mhm.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Listen, y'all, this has been so amazing. Hey, y'all seen how my eyes was. I'm sitting here like, like I appreciate you guys for one, the work that you guys have done to become who you are, to be able to teach others to become who they are. So I'm super appreciative to both of you. We lost Mark again, but we're gonna pop him back in here real quick. There you go. But I appreciate both of you guys for just coming in, sharing, but also dropping some knowledge, some expertise. And this is just the beginning, y'all. So, their details will be in the podcast links, but please let them know where they can follow you guys at.
For me, I spend more time on between my Instagram and TikTok, so it would be underscore Lady Lotus, the number 69, favorite number. You can follow
Hey,
me over there. And on TikTok, it's pretty much the same.
all right, all right, all right. Mark, what about you? Where can they
Okay.
find you?
You can find me on Facebook under my name, Mark Kemp. You can also find me under the name of my business, Tranquility Health and Wellness. That's TRANQUILITY, Health Wellness LLC. And I know that's long, but yeah, I'm about bringing peace from within. So
Absolutely.
that's why I chose the name Tranquility. And I'm also on Instagram. So look
Okay.
for me and YouTube under Tranquility also. So just look for
Absolutely.
Tranquility, look for this bright smile, and you'll find me. You'll find
Absolutely. Thank you guys again so much for providing such a value in this episode. I cannot wait until, we record again. I cannot wait until we just whoo, y'all, it's about to get juicy, baby. I'm just so excited about that. So, but y'all know where y'all can find me at. Again, if you have not subscribed to the channel or the podcast platform that you're listening to, make sure you do that. And you can find me on all social media at Coach K Transform. So make sure that you are following your girl on all social platforms as well. We are out of here, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate this. Share this with your people that gonna get
me.
it. Okay. Don't just share it with anybody. Share it with those that's gonna understand it. And until next time, we out of here, y'all.